All right, now let's take it up to the next level, and that is, first, what do you do if you don't know where to click? I mean, a lot of times, I would say most of the time, you're going to open up an image and you'll look at it and go, oh, there's the black, there's the white, there's the gray, no problem. But what do you do when it's not that obvious? Now, this photo is not terribly hard to figure it out, but let's go ahead and revert it. So we'll take it back to where it was when we started. All right, and let's do it from scratch. All right, so here's how it would be done. First thing you would do is you can have Photoshop tell you exactly where to click. It'll tell you exactly precisely where to click, so it's really a no-brainer. It takes the guessing game away. You do that by going over here to the Adjustment Layer menu, click, and choose Threshold. All right, this does this terrible thing to your photo. It brings up the Threshold dialog box. You're going to drag all the way to the left, all the way over there. Now start dragging slowly to the right. All of a sudden, you're going to see something appear. All right, see that stuff? That is the darkest stuff in the image right there. That is literally the darkest parts of the image. All right, so click OK, and you're going to go over here, and instead of choosing just the regular eyedropper tool, you're going to choose the Color Sampler tool. And the reason is, and what's different is, these stick around. So click an area that's very dark right there. Stick around, and it actually puts a number there. So let me just hide this so you can see. See how it puts the number 1 right there? It's telling you, click there. I mean, that's pretty much your first stop, okay? So let's bring that layer back, and then you double click. That says that's where the shadows are. You're going to drag all the way to the other side. As you drag to the left, the first things that appear in white are telling you exactly where the highlights are. So you click OK. Go grab and click on something white. There you go. So there's your second click. Take a look. So it's basically telling you, here's where your shadows are. Here's where your highlights are. Now, finding the midtones is a little trickier, and there was some really convoluted ways to get there. But my buddy Dave Cross, who works with me at NAPP in the office, came into my office one day and showed me this technique that he came up with, and it works every time for finding a good midtone. So here's what you do. You get rid of this layer. You're going to go and create a new blank layer. Now, you're going to fill this layer with 50%, well, black, I guess, or 50% gray. Go to the fill. Now, the fill is normally set to use your foreground color, which in this case would just fill the layer with, what is that, a green or something? But what you're going to do is you're going to choose in here 50% gray. And it fills that layer with that solid gray. You're going to change the blend mode of this layer from normal to difference. And it's going to look bad, but we're not done. All right. Now you're going to go and choose this pop-up menu. You're going to go to Threshold one more time. All right. You're going to go all the way to the left. And as you drag back to the right, the first areas that show up are those neutral areas right there. So there, any of these areas here you could conceivably click on, and they would be just fine to give you a neutral gray area. So click, and we'll just choose one maybe right here in his helmet. All right. We'll throw that away. We'll throw that away. And the 3 areas where we click are already marked for us. I mean, they're like literally ready to go. So you just bring up curves. All right. You're going to click one on the shadow spot, one on the midtone spot, one on the highlight spot, and you're just about there. Now, I'm not that crazy about the midtone one. I'm going to move it over just a little bit and see if we got a little bit better right next door to it. Okay, now, the other thing I would do is to add some contrast in there. Of course, you could click and just bump up the midtones. But what I want to do is I want to add more contrast into here. So we're going to kind of do what we did in curves. We're going to click right here and right there. So we basically have 3 points in the curve. I'm going to click and drag this curve point upward to make the highlights even brighter. We're going to click to drag this one down to make the shadows even darker. And look at the incredible contrast that adds. Remember, the steeper this curve is, the more contrast you're going to have. All right? And that gives you some kind of idea of where we are. And take a look at it before and after. I'm going to just move this out of the way a little bit. I'm going to turn off the preview and look at the difference from there to there. From there to there. I mean, it's absolutely just night and day, and it's so easy to do. Now, if you find yourself using a particular setting that you like a lot, you can actually save that setting in CS3. You can go up here to this little pop-up menu and choose Save Preset. You can actually give yours a name. So if you're doing a lot of football, you can call it afternoon conversion or something, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon conversion. It'll save that, and you'll be able to choose it from this pop-up menu. Now, the changes that they have here, they have some built-in ones that came with Photoshop CS3, but they're kind of, they're more contrast. You notice they all say increased contrast, linear contrast, negative, medium contrast, strong contrast. The other ones are special effect, and they don't really look that good. So, for example, let me just revert this and give you an idea of what some of those other special effecty ones look like. Like cross process, looks like that. And color negative, well, it looks like that. And negative, well, it looks like that. So you're probably not going to use those a whole bunch, but there are some contrast ones that you can just choose just to add contrast and not really do a color correction that are pretty decent. But anyway, that's how you determine those three things. So there you have it. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward way to correct. In fact, well, I'll go ahead and open up another photo, and we'll do it next. We'll go through another photo using the same thing. Do the whole thing one more time just to kind of drill it into you. And of course, you can download the same photo and give it a shot for yourself. So let's go ahead and do that next.